Alright, radio check, we should be live. Thank you everyone for tuning in, very much is appreciated. And look at that, we've just switched over to the Zandvoort circuit on the screen instead of the Monza circuit, but we'll get that fixed in time for the start of practice. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Okie dokes. Yeah, so what was I saying? Welcome back to the coverage, folks. We are going to have FP1 starting in 15 minutes time or so. And yeah, a lot to look forward to. We have, of course, Franco Colapinto, who is replacing Logan Sargent at Williams. So we're going to see him in his first practice session for the team. Kimi Antonelli will be making his debut for Mercedes in a free practice session, so we're going to see what he can do at this Monza circuit. There's quite a lot to talk about Monza as well. There have been a few changes that the drivers aren't particularly happy about. So the track has been resurfaced, which the drivers are fine with. That you know, that's necessary maintenance that has to happen on the track. But the curbs have been changed, and yeah, not all of the drivers have it particularly like that. So well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens and what they think. If the drivers end up cutting the corners and things like that. So, yeah. All right, let's get rid of last year's free practice one timings, and we've got this weekend's free practice ones. So as you can see, Kimi Antonelli is taking George Russell's seat in the Mercedes, and of course, Franco Colapinto, he is taking Logan Sargent's. Hello everyone in the chat. Cherry Mary, Just Sid, KV Paladin YT, Kerwist. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've already got 350 people for practice, which is quite incredible, to be honest. If you guys haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It definitely does help out the channel. And if you aren't subscribed, then hopefully we can hit 100k this weekend. That would be spectacular. All right. Yeah, so Kimi Antonelli and Franco Colapinto, both drivers taking part in the Formula 2 Championship this year. Of course, Colapinto, he will not be taking part for the second half. He's just going to be driving in Formula 1. Kimi Antonelli, he is just taking part in this practice session, and then we'll be doing the standard Formula 2 running as normal. The F3 Championship decider will be this weekend. F3, of course, does not have as many races as Formula 1, and their final race of the season will be this weekend in Monza, so we'll see who wins that. Hello, SRC fan, Schroeter Farms and Banana Boys. So George will show up for FP2, right? That is correct. George will be taking part for the rest of the weekend. Antonelli just getting a bit of practice in the Formula 1 car. Mercedes getting a bit of data on him in a real Formula 1 car at a real circuit that he probably has a bit of experience at. You know, ideally you don't want to be taking him out to do some practice sessions at Baku or at Singapore because firstly it won't have as much experience. The circuits are a lot less forgiving than the Monza circuit. So yeah, these drivers will be getting some experience, and the teams, importantly, will be gathering some information and some data on whether, you know, Antonelli is a suitable driver or will they go after somebody else to fill that Mercedes spot. Maybe they'll call up Valtteri Bottas. I don't know if Bottas would accept the contract to go back to Mercedes, but who knows what will happen. Have you heard about the unsafety car? Indeed, I have. I was about to post it on the YouTube community post, but yeah, I didn't really. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it anyway. Yeah, the safety car going into the Parabolica corner, so turn number 11 on there on the right hand side of your screen. What happened was, I don't know, they're still investigating the issue of the accident, but the rear left brake was glowing red hot. Maybe it was a stuck throttle, maybe it was a brake failure, I'm not exactly sure, but the car lost control and went straight into the barriers. So, yeah. But, you know, Aston Martin have flew out another safety car, so they will have 2 safety cars as a backup, as normal, and yeah, we'll see. All right. So another thing to talk about, Ferrari. They have brought a massive, massive set of upgrades. Quite possibly the biggest upgrades they have brought all season long. It is dubbed the Monza Special. There seem to be high, low downforce, high speed specific upgrades, but yeah, it looks really, really good. And if they can get the correlation with the CFD that they have been getting for the rest of, for the this season, then if the upgrades will work as the other upgrade packages have this season, then they should be absolutely good to go. And maybe even, third fastest, second fastest team. Last weekend at the Dutch Grand Prix, they weren't all that good. They were a little bit further behind the Mercedes and the Red Bulls and the McLarens, but they managed to recover that in the race. In quali, they were a little bit worse, but in the race they were better. So maybe this weekend they'll be good in both, and there might even be a Ferrari podium or a win on the cards at Monza this weekend. Alright, do you think Colapinto's having more points than Antonelli in Formula 2 standings says a lot about him? Yeah, I mean, see, Colapinto's been doing very well in Formula 2, and Antonelli not so much, but Antonelli has been, by Toto Wolff at least, Toto Wolff thinks that Antonelli is like a once-in-a-generation talent, and they're just promoting him straight up to the Formula 1 team. So, yeah, Colapinto's doing a good job, and I think the fact that he had more points than Antonelli probably played a significant role in the fact that he got the Williams spot to drive. So, yeah. Alright. Marianne, hi F1 Gamer. I know I said this before, but I hope you continue commentating through practice sessions as I really enjoyed. Would you consider doing FP3 at least since it's the same day as quali? Yeah, that is, Marianne, that is exactly what I will be doing. Depending on my university timings and stuff like that, I might not be able to do Fridays for the practice sessions, but I definitely now will be doing FP3 sessions and qualifying sessions going onwards. So, yeah. That's what's going to happen at least. When university starts, I'll see if I can do Fridays, but it all depends on my timetable, which has not been released yet. McLaren have to unite behind Lando. Yeah, well, McLaren have had quite a few issues with their starts. It wasn't just Lando Norris getting bad starts. There have been quite a few memes about Norris not being good off the start. In fact, I posted one of them. But Oscar Piastri as well, he was also pretty bad off the start. So it's not just a Lando Norris issue. It seems to be a McLaren sort of mapping issue. I don't know if it's an issue with the clutch, the way that they've designed the clutch, or the way that they're optimizing the launch off the line, but there's some sort of mistake that they are making, and they'll be looking to rectify that. They'll be trying to figure out some simulations and things like that to get the best clutch settings possible, but it seems like all of the other teams have got great clutch settings, and McLaren's the only one that have got bad ones. So that's the problem with the McLarens. That's their biggest weakness as of right now. So we'll see. Could what happens to the safety car be a prelude to what will happen to the F1 cars? Well, we have seen a couple of brake failures. It is very important to mention, at Monza, you would want the smallest possible brake ducts, because the bigger your brake ducts, the more drag you've got. And in an effort to reduce drag, the teams do sometimes compromise on their brake duct size, and the brakes end up overheating and failing. If you guys remember, I think 2020, Sebastian Vettel at Ferrari, he at Monza had a brake failure during the race because his brakes probably got too hot because the brake ducts were far too small. Now, that is something that is on the cards, but I'm sure the teams will be very aware of a potential brake failure and will do their best to prevent anything like that from happening. All right. What else have we got? Thank you, MCG, for tuning in. Very much is appreciated, buddy. All right. Charles Leclerc's going to win this race. Well, we'll wait and see. I think with the upgrade packages that Ferrari have brought, they look ridiculously in a good position to win this race. So, they brought so many low downforce specific upgrades that would very much be applicable at Monza and at Baku and at Spa. yeah, I think that they stand a real shot of definitely getting on the podium and maybe not even getting a win. But of course, we haven't seen the cars out on the circuit yet. Maybe for for all we know, the upgrade package is terrible and the car bounces around everywhere, and the drivers have no grip. How do you think is the fastest driver? Oh, you've just deleted your message. Never mind. Is Ferrari really not matching the livery with the race suits? Yeah, no, they're not. I don't know why they're doing that, but Ferrari always change their livery up a little bit with their times at Monza. But apart from that, haven't seen much in terms of a livery change. Mostly here just to see how Colapinto does. Yeah, that is very, very true. Colapinto, this is of course the first time under the spotlight. Him and Kimi Antonelli will both be observed very, very closely by any team. And, Colapinto's of course at Williams. He's got 9 races to prove that he is Formula 1 quality. And if he can, then that would be fantastic. If not, then his Formula 1 career might end by the end of this season. Alright, here we are then. This is the 75th time we are here at Monza in Formula 1's history. It is a spectacular circuit, round number 16 of the Formula 1 calendar. Track temperatures 49 degrees, very, very hot out there in Monza, just off the edge of Milan. The sun is shining. Of course, we have the very historic 3 chicanes at Monza and the 1 parabolica corner. 2 DRS zones as normal. The DRS zones have been extended as well this year, so DRS is going to be more potent than ever. We have the soft, medium and hard from Pirelli. They are the C5, C4 and C3 respectively, the softest of Pirelli's range. You don't need very particularly tough tyres around Monza. Most of the corners are fairly slow. We have team radios coming through very, very shortly. In fact, there they are. Just under 3 minutes is the message to Fernando Alonso. Brilliant. What is the car currently with the most drag? I don't know. I can't really. It depends on it depends on the drivers, on the stuff that they're running on the car. It depends how really their brake ducts are, and all of those things. So yeah, a bit of a difficult question to answer. Best of luck, smooth operator. Yeah, indeed. It's of course his last race here with the Ferrari team at an Italian circuit. So yeah, for Carlos Sainz is definitely going to enjoy this one and keep it in his memories. Okie dokes. Right, I'm just going to... in fact, no, I'll keep the timer up for now, and then we'll get rid of it once the practice session's starting. But we're just getting the team radios, so especially from the Aston Martin team, it seems like they're getting ready to go out already. They're lined up at the end of the pit lane. We've, of course, got 60 minutes of practice, then 60 minutes of practice for FP2, and then we will have 60 minutes for FP3 as well. Alright, when was Colapinto born? When Fernando was at Renault? Wow, that is a very, very surprising fact. It just shows how long Fernando Alonso's career has been, and honestly, what a career it has been for Fernando Alonso. Yeah, I must say, fantastic, really. Alright, free practice will start in 1 minute's time. The drivers are already queued up at the end of the pit lane. Oh, whoops, you've just got adverts. Let me just pause the adverts there. Apologies for that. I forgot to press that. What do you do? What do you think of the Sargent change? Well, I think it was a long time coming, really. Logan Sargent, he was quick, but he wasn't really delivering. Well, he wasn't quick enough really for Formula One. It's quite brutal, to be honest. You're the quickest driver probably from your continent in that age group. You leave your continent, move to Europe to pursue Formula One, and you progress through all of the ranks and you make your way to Formula One, and after so many years of hard work and training and this and that and everything, and then and you get to Formula One and they just tell you, sorry buddy, you're not quick enough. It's very, very brutal there for Logan Sargent. And but yeah, that's the way things goes in this sport. There's only 20 drivers, and you've got to be the best of the best of the best. And yeah, parking it in the wall at Zandvoort definitely sealed the deal. That was probably a deciding factor. I don't think they would have replaced him halfway through the season. They probably would have kept him all the way to the end if he hadn't had that crash. But a very, very big crash and potentially a chassis repair. I mean, it was they needed something to happen, and that was it. Okay. So yeah, all the drivers making their way out onto the circuit. Oh, we've got a very, very big aero rakes on the Aston Martin. They'll be. It seems like they've brought some upgrades this weekend, and they will be looking to gather some aero data going down the straights. So yeah, all right. A lot of team radio messages coming through, and thankfully this weekend the circuit's shaped in such a way that we can actually see all of we can see a lot of radio messages. Why is your voice graph upside down at the top of the screen? Yeah, it's just to make more space for the radio. That's why. Who misses Kimi 7? Yeah, honestly, Kimi Räikkönen, of course, getting a Ferrari pole here in 2018. Quite the driver, to be honest, Kimi Räikkönen. Will you be doing a face reveal when you hit 100k? I don't think so. Maybe, but currently that is not what I'm thinking about. So, yeah, we'll see. What do blue, green, and purple colours mean? Blue means leaving the pit lane. Green means quicker than your personal best, and purple means quickest out of every driver. Alright, Kimi Antonelli in Formula 2 is driving for Prema in 7th position in the Formula 2 Championship. In 2023, he drove for Prema Racing in a Formula Renault Championship, got first place. In 2022, he drove in Italian Formula 4, got first place. And in 2021, he won the FIA Karting European Championship and also got first place. So, Kimi Antonelli won the Karting European Championships, won Formula 4, then won Formula Renault, and now is in Formula 2 in his rookie season and is in 7th position. Whereas George Russell, he is being replaced by Kimi Antonelli for this Free Practice 1 session. In Free Practice 2, George Russell will be back in the car and will be taking part as normal. Kimi Antonelli is out on a set of soft tyres, and he looks like he is on a bit of a push lap. We'll wait and see how he does. But yeah, looking good. Looking good so far. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that we are going to have a lot of slipstreaming and things like that this weekend. The drivers will be playing around, trying to get the best tow possible from the drivers ahead of them, and I suspect we're going to have quite a lot of games being played in quali to make sure that you're in the best position to get a tow. At F1 Gamer, who do you think is faster or better driver between Lando and Oscar? Well, at this current moment in time, Lando Norris does seem to be the faster driver. I'd say Oscar Piastri is a bit more calm, composed than Lando Norris is, but of course he is slightly lacking in the pace department. But you do have to take into account it is Oscar Piastri's second season in Formula 1. He only started last year, and he's matching Lando Norris. Well, not matching him, but he's only about a tenth or so behind. And I think Oscar Piastri may have a bit of a higher potential than Lando Norris, just by looking at his progression in his career. But who knows? It's tough to say. It depends on career choices and things like that. Tow is being a slipstream of the car ahead. Yeah, tow is tow, slipstream, draft. Quite a few different words for it in motorsport. So there's changes on the newsreel. Whoops. Yeah, I think I typed that up in a bit of a hurry this morning. Where is that? There we go, fixed it. It is a very, very fast circuit. Oh, Max Verstappen misses the braking zone for turn number 1 and goes straight on. Not ideal there. And we've got Charles Leclerc, car twitching around a little bit on the entry into turn number 1, misses his braking point, misses the chicane as well. And only a little bit of gravel there. It's not even that much of a penalty for missing the chicane, which is I would have liked to see a little bit more gravel, a bit more of a penalty for making a mistake, but that's the way things goes when the FIA resurface the circuit. Oh yeah, we have had a resurfacing of the circuit, so the circuit is going to have quite a bit of track evolution. We will have, of course, have 3 practice sessions, and Formula 2 will have their practice sessions, and so will Formula 3. So essentially, there's not going to be all that much tyre wear. There's not going to be all that much track evolution in quali because Formula 1, Formula 2 and Formula 3 will all be driving around on this resurfaced track. Why is T7 out of bounds in the box? I've moved T7 out of bounds just because the higher up the smaller I make the box on the top for the track, the bigger I can make the box for all of the team radios, which I think is a little bit more important. I don't think the number 7 arrow really contributes all that much. Max Verstappen once again having issues under braking. On the second time of asking, he was following a driver ahead of him, looking to overtake him into turn number 1, but once again has issues on the brakes and goes straight on. Very, very strange for Max Verstappen again. 2 times in a row now, having issues into turn number 1. Right. I don't know, maybe his brakes aren't up to temperature, maybe his brakes are too hot. It's tough to say. I'm sure Red Bull will be, pushing the car to its absolute limits and potentially a little bit beyond as well, given that they are no longer the fastest team, they no longer have the most dominant car, and hence they have to take those little extra risks to ensure that they can fight for podiums, fight for wins. A chicane is 2 corners in a succession, so a left turn and then a right turn, or a right turn and then a left turn. So turn number 1, turn number 1 and 2, as you can see where Perez and Sainz are now, that is a chicane. They turn right and then they turn left, and then they continue on. Where Albon is right now, turn number 4 and 5, that is also a chicane, a left and a right. Yeah. Okie dokes. How is the safety car after the crash yesterday? Well, they've flew in another safety car, and normally they also have 2 safety cars, so one for a spare, just in case a scenario like that happens. If there's an issue with the safety car, they get an oil leak, or there's a puncture on the safety car, or something along those lines, then they have a spare backup as well. Okie dokes. Why can't the Red Bull team turn anymore? Did Adrian Newey ruin the aero on the way out? It's crazy, the drop-off, indeed. There were a couple of rumours flying around saying that the new drivers the new engineers weren't listening to Adrian Newey's advice. So I think Adrian Newey, he was given a little bit of a position in the team, basically saying, we're going to... now, because I'm leaving, I'm going to, pass on my expertise to you and say, you can learn from all of my past experiences and things like that. But the lead aerodynamicist at Red Bull wasn't particularly listening to Adrian Newey, and they weren't listening to his advice. And now things have gone the wrong way. So maybe it's down to that. But of course, those are rumours. We can't say for certain. What happened to Russell? He's sitting out of this free practice 1 session instead, and Kimi Antonelli is taking his place for a bit of practice. Why they not listen to him, I don't know. It's a tough thing, really. So it's a tough thing to explain. And Red Bull, they have dropped off a little bit, and Max is complaining that they can't turn. I looked at some of the onboards. The car, he definitely turned the steering wheel quite a bit, quite a lot of steering angle, but the car just was not turning. So, yeah, very, very strange scenario there. Why is Antonelli here? Antonelli is taking part in a free practice 1 session, just so Mercedes can gather some information on him. Is he really that quick? Is he what he is touted to be? And if they gather some information on him, then they can know if he's worthwhile to hire. Oh no, Antonelli, what has he done at turn number 11? The car stopped. There's a yellow flag, red flag. Oh no, no, Antonelli. This is your former FP1 debut, and you have stuck it into the gravel trap at turn number 11. Oh no. What does he do? The rear of the car spins around, he flies through the gravel trap and into the barriers. It is a massive F in the chat for Kimi Antonelli. This is very similar to what happened with Charles Leclerc, I think in 2019? No, 2020. Yeah, Charles Leclerc, 2020, straight into the barriers at Parabolica, pushing too hard. The rear of the car spins around, and Antonelli has binned it. Potentially, well, I don't know if this is ruining his shot at a Formula One seat, but it is not helping. I can tell you that for sure. He's broken George Russell's car. I don't think the damage is all that major. They're going to have to, I think, change the rear right suspension. Yeah. Oh my god. Talk about a bad start, really. Kimi Antonelli. Not ideal whatsoever. Okie dokes. Yeah, George Russell isn't looking all too happy. He knows, of course, that is his car that Kimi Antonelli has crashed, and he might not be able to take part in FP2. I think the crash isn't all too significant. The tyres have absorbed most of the impact, but yeah, he has the car essentially lost the rear going into Parabolica. It was very, very similar to Charles Leclerc's crash in 2020. He goes into the apex and the car just loses grip. It looks like the rear grip just disappeared and he just did a spin. But his confidence will have definitely been dropped. And if we've got a replay, it's nothing. It's nothing crazy. He's carrying an appropriate amount of speed into Parabolica, but the car just twitches, and I guess he just hasn't got enough experience to be able to correct the twitch. Went straight into the barriers. It wasn't, he wasn't driving over any white line or driving over any apex or any, curb or anything like that. Just a straightforward crash by losing the rear and not being able to correct. Very, very unfortunate for his Formula One debut as well. It is not a good look, is it now? Alright, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It definitely does help out the channel. Hopefully we can hit 500 likes. That would be fantastic. Toto Wolff is pulling a bit of a frowning face. He's not pleased with it, or, to be honest, he's given quite a bit of faith into Kimi Antonelli for quite a while now. And, Antonelli has done this and gone and crashed it. It must be the pressure. Yeah, you've got to take that into account. These Formula One, all of these drivers in Formula 2, most of them get one shot at a Formula One seat. Maybe a surprise race where someone's got an injury, or a surprise race where Colapinto's got very lucky. He's got 9 races. Nick de Vries, he got 1 race in Monza, I think in 2021, and he took that with both hands, scored a point, and then got a drive at AlphaTauri the next year. So, are we looking at the red flag going to take a while? Not long, really. I don't think so. The tyres will be replaced. It doesn't look like he's damaged any sort of the tyres or the barriers. The car's going to be picked up very, very soon, and he should be back out to just do standard. We should be doing some running in, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Ooh, there was a bit of an incident between Kevin Magnussen and Carlos Sainz at turn number 7, but I think that's not too big of an issue considering it is a practice session. Sorry, I just signed on. Why is there a red flag? There's a red flag. Kimi Antonelli, the Formula 2 rookie, has crashed George Russell's Mercedes at Parabolica Corner. Yeah, Toto says to his assistant, "Key me Carlos Sainz's agent's number." Yeah, well, I think Carlos Sainz has already signed his contract at Williams. I don't think there'll be a break clause this early out in the contract. But, calling Valtteri Bottas, that is a good option. I don't know if Valtteri, there's rumours that maybe Colapinto will go to Audi, maybe it will be someone else. I think Bottas would be a great fit. But they might go after Mick Schumacher to have two German drivers in a German team. They may go after, I don't know, Franco Colapinto if he has a good 9 races this year. And if Valtteri Bottas doesn't have a seat, then Bottas is prime candidate to go back to Mercedes. End of FP1? Definitely not. It is not the end of FP1. The drivers will be back out in about 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Okay. Kimi isn't ready for F1. Yeah, I think that this crash has just proved that point, but he won in 2021, right? It's not all that long ago. 2021, he won the European Karting Championship. 2022, won Formula 4. 2023, won Formula Renault. And 2024 is taking part in Formula 2. So it would be a very quick career progression from 2021 to 2025, from karting all the way to Formula 1. So, yeah, too much hype for a youngster. It does apply a lot of pressure. Some people are able to deal with it, some people are not. Maybe this was just a freak mistake. You really can't say. Mercedes have been struggling with balance issues earlier on in the season. Maybe they brought an upgrade or two and the balance issues are back. Yeah. Mick seeking a chance after Antonelli's crash. Yeah, of course, Mick is the junior driver at Mercedes. Sorry, not the junior, the reserve driver at Mercedes. The team will have already more than enough data on Mick Schumacher, given how he's been driving the simulator and things like that. But I don't know if they want to put Mick Schumacher into Mercedes. That is, of course, down to Toto Wolff. So, yeah. Mick Schumacher will bring a lot of money to the team. I think that's why he was a pretty big asset to the Haas team. But Mercedes have already got more than enough money. So that's not a big selling factor for Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher, he's got experience in Formula 1 car. But if you could hire Valtteri Bottas or you could hire Mick Schumacher, why would you hire Mick? Who do you think will win Monza? It's tough to say. Honestly, I'm going to wait till I can get a bit of a read on these Ferrari upgrades. If the upgrades look great, then I'm going to be cheering for Ferrari, even though I don't think they will win it. I think McLaren are a little bit too strong, a little bit too far ahead after the Dutch Grand Prix. Why has Russell got replaced by Kimi? Kimi was just taking part in an FP1 session. It happens quite often. The drivers get replaced by junior drivers for free practice 1, so the junior drivers can gain some experience in Formula 1 cars. On the other hand, Kimi Antonelli, he has gained experience crashing a Formula 1 car. Yeah, not great really. How exactly do upgrades work? Are teams allowed to bring as many as they want each weekend, or are there restrictions? No, the teams are allowed to bring as many upgrades as they want for as many different parts of the car. But, of course, the budget cap is the main limiting factor. If you don't have enough money, then how are you going to bring upgrades? But there you go. Kimi Antonelli, he's been moved from Parabolica into the pit lane. And, we should be ready to go out for the rest of Free Practice 1 very, very soon. No, the crash wasn't all that serious. It's not too big of an issue. It's fine. All right. But some teams decide to bring, loads of upgrade, like one very big upgrade package. A couple of other teams decide to bring, smaller, frequent upgrade packages. It depends. Everyone crashes. Don't say he's not ready or on his way out already. I bet he's really nervous in the car, but I think he'll surprise everybody. Yeah, it's tough to say really. How many laps has he done? He did 4 laps and he was how far behind Hamilton? He was 0.6 off Hamilton. The session should be resuming in 3 minutes time. We've just got confirmation from race control. Yeah. The front wing is gone, is it not? Not the entire front wing, just the end plate. I think the right end plate is gone. Apart from that, it is fine. Yeah. All right. I mean, I think what someone's just said, no, mate, you should have built up a quick lap throughout the session, not gone all guns blazing. Yeah, that's true. I think maybe you could throw some blame on Mercedes for that. They sent him out on a set of soft tires. They could have built him out on a set of mediums and then said, "Oh, we'll do a bit of long run so you can get a feel for the car, and then you can go and do some quick laps." It wasn't. I don't think the most wise choice to send a Formula 2 junior out onto the circuit. To do quick laps. Oh no, the front wing is damaged. The right side of the front wing is at least damaged. The front left is alright, but the front right is damaged. Maybe Merck can sign Sargent. Yeah, Sargent would be a brilliant choice, wouldn't he? Why is there a red flag? There was a crash about 5-10 minutes ago, but we should be ready to go racing in 2 minutes' time. Alright, DRS has been re-enabled. Another thing, DRS zone has been lengthened, so it should help with a little bit of overtaking at this circuit. Yeah, it's good. Overtaking, of course, is fantastic, and the Monza circuit, we always get some great racing, great overtakes into turn number 1, some great battlings going through the Curva Grande towards the second chicane. And then Parabolica, we've seen quite a few good overtakes down there as well. Okie dokes. 2,500 people tuned into practice stream. That is fantastic, folks. If you guys are enjoying the coverage, do be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It definitely does help out the channel. And if you are interested in getting F1 TV, I am sponsored by them. They have all of the footage, all of the onboards, all of the team radio, and yeah, professional commentary in a couple of different languages as well. So if you guys are interested, then the link is in the description. Go ahead and check that out. When was the last time an F2 driver crashed in a Formula 1 FP1 session? Unfortunately, I do not have that information. But normally, when Formula 1 drivers, when F2 drivers come into a Formula 1 car, they don't go all guns blazing and they don't go maximum attack, especially on their 4th lap in the car. So I think that's a little bit on Mercedes. There was absolutely no need to send him out on a fresh set of soft tyres to go do hot laps as his start of his Formula 1 debut. A bit of a misjudgment there from the Mercedes team. A bit of a rare misjudgment, to be honest. Normally they're pretty good with these kind of things, but they've made a mistake this time. All right. Also, track temperature up at 50 degrees Celsius. Very, very warm track conditions. It's just the way things are. Very hot in Monza. And skies are blue, the sun is shining, and the circuit is getting warmer and warmer as the day goes on. Maybe they asked him what he wanted to do. Yeah, maybe he did. I don't know, maybe some maturity from his part, probably saying, "Oh yeah, I'll do a couple of long runs." I don't know who's to blame there, but I think whoever decided that he's going to do hot laps in his first 10 minutes of getting in a Formula 1 car is probably to blame. What happened to Kimi? Kimi crashed. Yeah. This amount of softs for a speedy lap. Can't fully blame Kimi. Alright, my Now TV got cancelled. I missed it. What did he do? He crashed at Parabolica. He, going into the Parabolica corner, turned into the apex, hit the apex, but then the rear of the car just wasn't having any of it, and spun around. So, yeah. But we are back to some running now, and let's keep our eyes out on Franco Colapinto. His first time in a Formula 1 car as well. Let's wait and see what he can do, how he progresses throughout this this FP1 session. Is he going to build up to it? I think he will. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we've got all of the drivers now. Everyone on the circuit apart from Kimi Antonelli, who is, of course, in the pit lane. They'll be repairing the car. I don't know if he's allowed to take part in the session. I think he should be fine, though. When is FP2? FP2 is starting in 2 hours' time. 2 hours and 4 minutes' time, to be exact. Yeah. If Kimi has tested with a Merc and at Silverstone before, didn't he? I don't think he did. I think he may have driven an older Formula 1 car. I don't remember, though. I don't think he tested at Silverstone. Does it look like the second Merc car will be out for FP2 later? Yes, it will. It will be a simple front wing repair, and I think they'll check the rear right suspension, and if there is damage, they'll replace that. But it should not be. They have 2 hours till the start of FP2, so more than enough time for them to sort out any sort of issues. He drove the 2022 Merc. All right. Yeah. So not this year's car. But still, nonetheless, I think if he drove it in Silverstone, that probably would have been a sort of testing day rather than in a free practice session. So it's different scenarios, different things. All right. We have got Max Verstappen on in fact, Max Verstappen just set his flying lap, a 1 minute 23.0. Very, very quick indeed. He's done that on a used set of soft tyres. And Carlos Sainz on a used set of medium tyres only goes 0.3 behind him. Unfortunately, there's not all that much to read into in these lap times. You know, if someone's got a tow, they're going to have a massively quicker lap time than someone who doesn't have a tow. If someone's turned up their engine mode or just got less fuel, then it's a very, very big difference. But well, yeah, we'll have a look at how the cars are handling. That's one thing to keep an eye out. The Ferraris, Carlos Sainz had an issue going into turn number 1 at the start of the session, but that might have just been a one-off thing. So we'll see if Leclerc has any of those. Bottas goes across the line, first position for him on a set of softs. Yeah, and look at that, he's got a tow off Charles Leclerc. So yeah, okie dokes. 32 minutes remain of this free practice session, and let's see how is Colapinto doing. He's currently in 15th on a set of medium tyres, doing a bit of a long run. We've just got a replay here of him going through the the second chicane, losing the rear of the car a little bit as he went through there. He hit a little bit of a dip in the road, and because of that, the car spun around a bit, but everything seems to be well, and yeah, saved the car. So doing all right for his first time in a Formula 1 car. All right, Oscar Piastri, he's on a flying lap. Let's see what he can do. Comes out of the Parabolica corner, 2 green sectors for him. He comes across the line. The third sector's also green, but it's only 10th position. He's on a set of medium tyres, and he's lapping fairly slowly. It seems like he's doing a long run to gather some information on how the medium tyres do in these extremely hot track conditions. 51-degree track temperature. Also, I'd like to let you guys know the forecast for today and tomorrow and the day after. It is totally dry and totally sunny in Monza, so no chance of rain unless we get a freak thunderstorm, which I don't think we will be getting. Yeah, it seems like we're going to have a dry weekend here in Monza, a dry and a hot weekend as well. So we'll see how the drivers manage, but it will be an interesting challenge as always. All right. Lewis Hamilton also having issues with the rear of the car. Going through the second Lesmo corner, he turns in and loses the rear on the exit of the corner. Drifts a little bit too far wide, and Hamilton having a bit of issues as well. Goes over the curbs massively. The car is, I think, one wheel on the ground, three wheels in the air. And yeah, Hamilton's really pushing. So, yeah, the car doesn't look all that stable, though, that being said. So maybe it was a bit of an issue for... maybe it's just a Mercedes issue, I'm not sure, for Kimi Antonelli. Wasn't it last year half of Italy was flooded unexpectedly? Yes, I think it was. I think Imola had flooded, I think, 1 or 2 weeks before the Imola Grand Prix. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. But... I mean, what can I say? I mean, I think Italy also had heat waves last year as well. It's quite crazy. Okie dokes. Right. Let's keep an eye out for anything else surprising, but seems to be a fairly standard practice session. Carlos Sainz. Ooh. Look at that middle sector for Carlos Sainz. Purple in the middle sector. Norris just pips him ahead, goes up into second place, but Bottas still holding the top of the timings there on a fresh set of softs. Very, very nice indeed. We'll see if that continues. Yeah. Franco Colapinto is from Argentina. It's been quite a while since we've had a Formula One driver from Argentina. In fact, I'm just going to look up now. Who was the most recent Argentinian Formula One driver? I know there's Joanuel Manfangio, but let's have a look. The most recent driver was in 2000, so it's been 2001. 2001, so it's been 23 years since the last time an Argentinian drove in Formula One. Yeah. Oh, thank you. There's quite a few people in the chat as well, also letting me know. Very much is appreciated. Crazy indeed, not lagging on my end. Yeah. Yeah, no, my stream's looking good. Managed to fix all of the issues. There are a bunch of things that I thought could be solving them. Messed around with stuff, some corrupted files, and got rid of those and all of those things. And yeah, computer tech issues, bit of a headache, but at least they're all fixed now. Bottas wants a podium after seeing his name after the scoring error last race. Indeed, I'm sure he does. Bottas wants a podium. Sauber have had a tough couple of weeks. Not a tough couple of weeks. They've had a tough season, to be honest. Hamilton, he had a nice quick lap there, going up into first position. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas, he'll be looking to do very, very well this weekend. Sauber, of course, it will be their home. Well, I guess Sauber's home is technically Switzerland, but I always associate Sauber with Alfa Romeo. It is, of course, no longer Alfa Romeo Sauber. It's Kick Sauber instead. But yeah, I guess a sort of a home race for the Sauber team. Bottas has gone fastest again. Wow, really is pushing, isn't he? I mean, he did get a bit of a toe here and there, so let's not get too carried away. But Bottas is still doing very well. Yeah, hello Toto. That is exactly what he's trying to do. After Kimi Antonelli has crashed, Bottas goes top of the timings. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think Kimi Antonelli. I think Toto Wolff will be looking for other options now, and Bottas is right there on the radar. Why is Antonelli in the pits? He damaged and crashed his car. I think the rules say, I'm not exactly sure, but I think if you cause a red flag in the free practice sessions, I don't think you're allowed to take part in the remainder of the session. So, yeah, that's why Kimi Antonelli's in the pits. It wouldn't have taken that long to repair the stuff on the car, but I don't think he will be taking part for the rest of the session because they're just not allowed. very, very unfortunate. You know, he got his Formula One debut in a free practice session, and only 4 laps before he crashed. All right. Yeah, a couple of drivers coming into the pits now, and we're seeing a bit of long runs here as well. Alex Albon doing, I think Albon's on a quick lap actually. Yeah, Albon's on a fresh set of softs. He goes up into 3rd position, but what we were seeing from Perez and from Verstappen, the soft tyres doing 11 laps on those. They may be contemplating starting the race on a set of softs. That would be a pretty nice advantage for them. And of course, Monza, not the highest tyre wear circuit, so you could probably get away with a one-stop race this weekend. I haven't seen the official strategy guide from Pirelli because they haven't released it yet, but when they do, I expect a one-stop should be what we're getting. Where is Behrman right now? Behrman is, I think he's probably training for a Formula 2 session, because Formula 2 will be racing, we'll be doing their practice sessions very, very shortly after Formula 1 is finished, and so will Formula 3 as well. So Behrman's probably taking part in that, and then he'll be driving for Haas next year, of course. Do they get tyres per session or a fixed amount for the weekend? Do they get a fixed amount for the weekend, and then they have to return a couple of tyres every single session? Yeah. We're looking at the speed trap speeds here. Yuki Tsunoda, 348 kilometers per hour down the speed traps. And then we've got Lando Norris, 348 as well kilometers per hour through the speed trap. That's 216 miles per hour for anyone that uses those units. And Daniel Ricciardo in 3rd place right behind. In fact, let me have a look. Do we have the speed trap data on the practice? Oh yeah, there we go. We have all of the speed traps data. Leclerc looks to be the quickest through the speed traps there. And then who else is... Well, who's actually the slowest? Let's have a look. Piastri's the slowest through that bit of the speed trap. Norris is fine. Yeah, Stroll and Ocon, they're a little bit slow as well. But it's interesting. We'll see. Let's go back to there. I think for the... I think I'll also add the speed trap data in for quali, because that's quite important actually to see who got a tow, who didn't, who's quicker down the straight. It's very, very critical at this circuit, of course. Can you commentate Formula 2 as well? Well, I'm sure I could commentate it, but unfortunately there'd be nothing to put on the screen. If I put the actual footage, I'd get copyright striked, and I can't get access to the Formula 2 data because no such thing exists. They don't broadcast the data like they broadcast the Formula 1 data, unfortunately. So, yeah. I don't think I'll be doing Formula 2 commentary anytime soon, unfortunately. Unless F1 TV want to call me up and I commentate for them, or Sky Sports. If Sky Sports could call me up, or even BBC in the UK. Yeah, if any of you happen to be working for broadcasting companies, then pop me an email or send me a DM on Instagram, F1_gamer_5, and maybe something will happen. But yeah, I think it's quite unlikely. Alright, just watching the onboards here for Colapinto. He's doing quite nicely, hitting all the apexes. The Williams car looks a little bit twitchy in the hands of Alex Albon, but I think for Colapinto's first race in Formula 1, Williams will have opted for a slightly more safe and optimal setup, safe and stable setup, rather than going for the most optimal possible setup, because the most optimal setup is much more likely to twitch around and for you to have a crash. Would you try your hand at commentating endurance racing like Le Mans? Yes, I actually would, because you can get access to the WEC data, but there's quite a lot of overlap between when WEC races are and when Formula 1 races are. I'll have a look, actually, when the next WEC race is. and I will see if it collides with a Formula One race. The 2024 calendar, there is a race in the 1st of September which collides with the Italian Grand Prix, unfortunately. There is also a race on the 15th of September which collides with the Baku Grand Prix, and there is a race on the 2nd of November which is in Bahrain. And does that collide with anything? Yes, it also collides with the Brazilian Grand Prix. So yeah, I'd love to commentate WEC, but as you can tell, all of the races collide with Formula One races, and I think Formula One would keep priority since we've got most of the people here are Formula One fans. All right. Let's keep going with practice, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It very much would be appreciated. Definitely does help out the channel, and if you aren't subscribed, then that would be fantastic as well. Hopefully we can hit 100k this weekend or next weekend. But yeah, your subscriptions are very much appreciated. Okie dokes. Oh, look at that, Carlos Sainz, purple in the middle sector. Let's wait and see what he can do as he comes across the line. What's it going to be? And no, it's a slower lap than his personal best. In fact, 6 seconds slower than his personal best. Ooh, Carlos Sainz backing out of his hot lap right at the end there. So to not put him right at the top of the timings. Oh, no, he didn't. Carlos Sainz made a mistake. Apologies for that. Going into Parabolica, braked a little bit too late and messed up his hot lap. Yeah. Mistake in the last corner. That's what it was. Alright, Charles Leclerc up into 2nd place. Great lap from him. And he came over the radio saying he also made a mistake in the last corner. So, yeah. It's still more time left on the table there for Charles Leclerc. We've just got a replay for Carlos Sainz. He hits the apex, and once again, the car twitches exactly in the same way that the car twitched for Kimi Antonelli. But of course, Carlos Sainz got a lot more experience than Antonelli. He managed to save the car and just go off into the runoff area and keep the car on the road. He came over the radio saying, "Ooh, tricky one," and yeah. It's just sometimes there's the nature of this circuit. When you run such low downforce on your car going into Parabolica, which is the only sort of medium to high speed corner on the circuit, your car is going to slide around, it is going to twitch around, and you're going to have a lot less control over it. So yeah, it's one of the trade-offs that you take at this Monza circuit, because you do want to maximize your straight line speed. I knew what happened to Kimi. Crashed at Parabolica. Car twitched in the mid corner. They did a 180 and went into the barriers. And if you cause a red flag in the free practice session, you are also not allowed to take part in the rest of the free practice session. So Antonelli is sat out in the pits. They'll in fact be replacing his seat, taking it out, putting in George Russell's seat, and getting ready to go for FP2. Will Kimi come back? Not in this weekend. He'll be driving the Formula 2 cars for the rest of this weekend. George Russell will be driving as normal for the Mercedes team. How do you watch FP1 on F1 TV? Yeah, well, if you want to watch FP1, then there is an F1 TV Pro link in the description. It helps out the channel. You basically just give me a bit of a commission. I'm sponsored by F1 TV, of course, and you get all the onboards, all of the footage. In fact, I have to play this little advert up there in the top right. Let me just put that up there. You just get all the data, all the action as soon as it all happens. Onboards as well. The onboards are really cool this year. They've added like a wide-angle camera. You can see all that. You can get a real sensation for the speed. So if you guys are interested, the link's in the description. If not, then carry on watching the live stream. You know, helps out either way. All right, let's get rid of that advert. All right. Where are you obtaining the team radio data from? It is from F1 TV. That's where it's coming from. So, yeah. Is it free? Unfortunately not. As many things are. F1 TV is not free. Okie dokes. 15 minutes left of this practice session. The drivers now. Daniel Ricciardo makes his way out on a set of medium tyres. He'll be doing some long runs. And Hulkenberg's out on a set of softs. Leclerc is once again out on a set of softs. But what else have we got going on? Who else is out on the circuit? Sainz and Tsunoda, they're both out on softs as well. Most drivers out on softs, which is quite interesting, given that FP2 actually links up with the best time, and it's more accurate to what we'll be experiencing in qualifying. So the drivers should be doing the hot laps in FP2 rather than in FP1, but obviously they know something that I do not know. Alright. Has Ricciardo been on the softs yet? Wait, let me just check. Has Ricciardo been on the softs? No, by the looks of it, he's just been on the medium tyres all qualifying session, all practice session long. I don't know, maybe right at the start he was on a set of softs, but as of now he's just been on the mediums for the previous couple of stints for him. Alright folks, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, otherwise my throat is going to start hurting. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and hope you enjoy the remainder of the practice session. I'll be back in just a minute's time. Does the hot track temperature make the softs worse than the other tyres, maybe? Yeah, it does, because the softs are much more prone to overheating than all of the other tyres, and if you do have hot track temperatures, then overheating with soft tyres is going to be a lot easier to do than overheating, with a set of hard tyres. But I think the reason the teams are using these soft tyres are because they only have a limited amount of mediums and they have a limited amount of hard tyres, and essentially what they want to do is just make sure that they don't use too many mediums and too many hards in the practice sessions, otherwise they'll have no tyres left for the race itself. Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. I think they don't want to use the tyres up too early out in the weekend, because they're of course much more critical in the race when you'll actually be scoring points, whereas in practice, you can drive around on overheating soft tyres, not too big of an issue, and in fact it probably gives your driver a better feel for the limit. Charles Leclerc puts himself up into fastest lap there, 0.2 ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Piastri across the line, he's third, and Sainz is starting a flying lap, so let's wait and see what happens. But nicely done there by Charles Leclerc. And he goes quicker by half a second in the third sector compared to his previous lap. And on his previous lap, he came over the radio saying he made a mistake in the final sector. So, yeah, really catching up so much time there in Parabolica. He was 0.4 quicker than Piastri, a tenth quicker than Norris through Parabolica. So, very nicely done there from Charles Leclerc. Okay. There we go then. Lance Stroll across the line, 12th place for him. The Aston Martin not looking all too slippery in a straight line this weekend. Stroll was struggling with the top speeds earlier when we had a look at the speed traps as well, and Fernando Alonso down in 19th position. In fact, he's just come out now on a set of soft tyres, so we'll see what he can do, but he had done 19 laps on a set of mediums, so gathering some long run data for the team. Okie dokes, we got 3,200 people tuned in to the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much is appreciated. Yeah, be sure to hit the like button. Very nice, we've hit 700 likes. Alright, 11 minutes remain of this session. And yeah, not long now till the end. Perez comes across the line, 8th position for him on his set of softs, and wow, very, very quick in a straight line there, hitting speeds of 326 kilometers an hour without a toe, and no DRS as well. So you can only imagine what will happen when DRS is wide open. And yeah, Perez also made a mistake in the final sector, saying very, very difficult final corner, and he was 0.4 slower than Charles Leclerc in the final sector. So a lot of drivers finding the final sector tricky. Charles Leclerc made the mistake. Carlos Sainz made a mistake. Perez has made a mistake. Kimi Antonelli made a mistake. And yeah, just the way things go. The slowest in the speed traps. Oh no, folks. The Red Bulls, they are not looking all that good. 342 for Sergio Perez in the speed trap, and 341 for Max Verstappen in the speed trap. They are running, by the looks of it, the most draggy car on the entire paddock at Monza. This cannot bode well for the Red Bull team. Maybe they've turned down the engine and they're sandbagging the car a little bit. It's a bit tough to say. Yeah. All right. Ooh. But yeah, Verstappen, he is the slowest going through the speed trap at 341 kilometers an hour, and Perez is the third slowest, and second slowest I think is one of the Haas cars. So yeah, the Red Bull car needs a Red Bull, and it needs to speed up a little bit. Alright, Ferrari's cooking. Hope this is good for the actual race. Yeah, I think Ferrari, they had great race pace in Zandvoort as well. You've got to, they had quite a bad quali, to be honest, but in the race, I think both drivers gained 3 positions or something, which is brilliant. And if they've brought massive upgrades this weekend. I don't know if you've just seen it, it's just gone off the screen now, but the upgrades, you know, people are calling it the Monza special. Like, these upgrades are so Monza specific. I have a feeling that they are going to turn their engine up to the limit, and they are going to try and win this race in front of the Tifosi. Yeah. Does Valtteri have an upgrade? All of the teams have brought circuit-specific changes / upgrades. I don't think Sauber have done anything specific to Bottas's car compared to Zhou. I think you just have to take into account Zhou is on a set of medium tyres, Bottas is on a set of softs. They're on different run plans. I think in FP2 we'll see Zhou going quicker and Bottas going slower, because they'll be doing different run plans then. The weather, very, very sunny, blue skies out in Monza, 51 degrees track temperature, 33 degree air temperature, and humidity is 37%. All right. Here we go then. Not too much else going on, to be honest. A couple of drivers doing long runs, a couple of drivers doing hot quick laps. In fact, look at that. Max Verstappen, he is on a hot lap. Across the line he goes. Well, never mind any of what we were saying before that he's slow in a straight line, because he is now 0.2 quicker than Charles Leclerc. Have a look at the final sector. He was quicker than Leclerc in the final sector. He was quicker than everyone in the middle sector, and the first sector was quick as well. We may have to just get a replay of that to check that he didn't get a massive toe off anyone, but the pace looks pretty good for the Red Bull, apparently. Yeah. I mean, we'll have another look at the speed traps and we'll see if he's improved. Let's have a look at the speed traps. No, he hasn't improved massively. Leclerc seemed to have got quite a big toe going down the straight at some point. But yeah, Verstappen seems to be doing all right. It doesn't look like an excessive toe that he got off anyone there. All right. Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. 3,300 people tuned in to the live stream. All right, 5 minutes remain of this practice session. All the drivers out now. We've got a bit of variety on the tyres that we're seeing today. Tsunoda's out on a set of hard tyres. He's done 11 laps on those. He's going to be, looking at the tyre wear, see how the hard tyres cope with these extremely hot track conditions, because it is going to be extremely similar to what we'll be seeing on Sunday. And yeah, if it is similar, then Tsunoda will have a bit of an advantage. He'll know how the tyres degrade, which corners the hard tyres is best at, and how to approach them. What do you think of Kimi? Well, I haven't really got that much of a read on Kimi. He's only done 4 laps and then he had a crash. But I would also like to blame the person that decided that he should go out and do hot laps immediately. As you can see, Franco Colapinto, he is on a set of medium tyres. He's done 13 laps on those medium tyres. It was probably best to build him up throughout the first practice session, send him out on a set of medium tyres and let him do maybe 30 laps, 40 laps, and then give him a set of softs to start doing hot laps. Whoever made that decision is probably it's probably the reason why Antonelli has crashed. Kimi Antonelli never went back on the track. The car has been repaired. They have put George Russell's seat in the car in preparation for FP2. But Antonelli, he can't go back onto the track now because the regulations, I think they say, if you cause a red flag, then you have to sit out the rest of the practice session. Okay. Is it because of track evolution? That is also a bit of a critical... It's not that critical in practice, but yeah, there will be a bit of track evolution going on. So that probably also helped out Max Verstappen. I'm not going to say, it was all down to track evolution. Verstappen was still very quick in the middle sector. Nonetheless, a quick lap, but I'm sure he was helped a bit by track evolution, maybe a bit by a toe. It's a bit tough to say. What happened with Kimi? He crashed in the Parabolica corner, turn number 11 of the circuit, hit the apex, and then the rear of the car spun around. All right. Also, another very, very big talking point here is, of course, the championship standings. There's only 30 points in between McLaren and McLaren and Mercedes. McLaren and Red Bull, which is quite crazy, to be honest. And did I say McLaren and Mercedes? McLaren and Red Bull, yeah. So I think McLaren, are going to have a good shot of potentially winning this Constructors' Championship. Sergio Perez has got to pick up the pace. Red Bull have got to find their feet again. And if that does not happen, which it does not look like it is going to happen, Red Bull is still looking for issues with their car, and they're running different floor upgrades on both cars to try and diagnose these issues. Yeah, they're still trying to diagnose the issue. They haven't even figured out what the issue is yet. So it's not great, to be honest. Not great for the Red Bull team, and McLaren are looking maybe in the next 2-3 races they'll be in the lead on the Constructors' Championship. We've just got a replay of Lewis Hamilton. He locked up going into turn number 2. Sorry, not turn number 2, chicane number 2. Yeah, so not great there for Hamilton. And we had Lance Stroll go wide on the second Lesmo corner. Okie dokes. Is it practice? Kimi took George's car only for practice. Yeah, it's only for practice. not for the entire race weekend. If I was Red Bull, I would restore the car to the last known working state. Yeah, they would probably do that, but the issue with that is, well, actually, they could do that, but the problem is McLaren are much quicker already, so they've got to use the upgrade packages, because the upgrade packages reduce, speed up the car by a tenth or two, and they critically need that tenth or two at this moment in time. If they do go back to the last working upgrade package, then McLaren are just going to be miles ahead of them. So it's a tough call to make. How come he took George's car and not Lewis's? I don't know. I'm sure Lewis, maybe he had a bit in his contract saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna." Oh, what have we got a yellow flag for? Oh no, is that Colapinto that's crashed in? Oh no, Colapinto saved it. I think they're coming over the radio saying, "You okay?" And he's driving around. Okay, Colapinto saved this one. He made the exact same mistake as Kimi Antonelli, but this time Colapinto, he got it into the gravel trap and didn't make it into the barriers. Oh, very, very close there. Heart in his mouth for sure for Colapinto. I mean, that's going to reflect a little bit better for Kimi Antonelli, knowing that his another rookie driver nearly did the exact same mistake as him. But yeah, Colapinto into the garage, no damage on his car, and the checkered flag is out for the end of FP1, folks. All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We are 9 likes away from 800, so if we could hit that, that'd be fantastic. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end the live stream. It will take you over to the live stream for Free Practice 2, and yeah, I'll take you to the live stream for Free Practice 2, and then I'll be doing the Free Practice 2 commentary as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you have had a wonderful day, morning, day, evening, or afternoon, or night, depending on where you are in the world. Just a quick recap on what happened to Franco Colapinto going into the parabolic corner. Once again, just a twitch of the car, locks the brakes, and goes into the gravel trap. I'm sure he was thinking, oh no, I'm going to do exactly what Antonelli has done. But the one critical thing that he had was, firstly, he corrected the car a little bit, which Antonelli didn't do, and then he also slammed on the brakes, so he knocked off a lot of speed before he actually got into the gravel trap, which meant he could save it. But yeah, and one final thing, if you could leave a like on the Free Practice 2 live stream, that definitely would help out the channel, because essentially if you just hit the like button before the stream starts, it tells YouTube it's an amazing live stream and it recommends it to everyone. So that's all I ask of you. If you could hit the like button on the FP2 live stream, that'd be brilliant. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you in a couple hours time. Cheers, fellas.